effectively our people coming in off the street, our young teenagers that are riding, they can come into the Ctas Cup, and after 1 or 2 years, depending on how well I've gone in the Ctas, then to move into this 300 class will be excellent. Courtesy of MTF, Motor Trade Finance, proud to be sponsors of Avalon Biddle, and proud to be looking after our event here as well. MTF, of course, a branch right here at Timaru, exactly as the name says, Motor Trade Finance. In this day and age, the number of chats I've been having over a very good friend in the motor industry, and he's making a comparison with the earning power of the dollar compared to the price of motor vehicles. They have never been any cheaper than they are now. They're therefore more affordable. You get a better quality. And as that ad on TV is telling us, you get a much safer vehicle, and that's what I think is so cool. So when you're a parent and you've got the young people out, no longer do you put them in that $1,000 car and say, you're right out there, folks, because it's an older model of the 80s or the 90s. You now want them to have the latest and greatest, and you can do that, of course, for cars at the price of around $10,000 to $15,000. So you use your previous money for a deposit, and then you go and get your MTF loan, and you're putting your kids in a safe vehicle. Great to see. All right, Brad, we're getting away with the start now at our MTF-sponsored Super Sport 300. It's anybody's kind of racing, but is Harry going to own it today? What do you reckon?
Yeah, local man, the MTF Finance, Timaru man, he's out to fly at the moment. But look at Blake Ross. Had a good weekend last weekend. Unfortunately, crashed out of the lead in their one, and then look to head. They all fly down into Miss Kissack Curve, the left-hander, but it is Harry Parker ahead of Blake Ross, and now look to the charge. It's Wellington's Reece Lindsay in there, and Jacob Stroud in there in fourth on the Shuzi KTM 390. So this is absolutely fantastic field, 300 Supersport racing, and you've got the Yamaha, the Kawasaki, and the KTM 1, 2, 3 at the moment. So this is fantastic.
All right, great to see. In fact, this new class coming aboard, it only evolved in racing last year after the growth of these bikes by the manufacturers out of the 250 era. We do have 250 groups still within this, but the smaller, lesser significant field and on the smaller bikes, and therefore at the back of the pack by desire and by results. And there you go for our update at the moment. Believe it or not, 28 riders out there. Harry Parker along with Blake Ross and Reece Lindsay, as Brad has updated. Jacob Stroud in there as well. Good to see him up in this one with Jack Condon, Dave Fellows, Nick Burke, along with Hayden Lockhart in there. So some good names and numbers to make the lineup. And looking at, I hope for Angela. Hope Angela's got a start. She was on the podium last weekend. Great to see Angela Charlotte. But on her home track there at Ruapuna, probably feeling a little bit more comfortable. There's your swarm of 250s at the back of the field, and 250s, of course, they've got their own race. We'll have the separate podium for them at the end of the race, and there it is, the Honda Medical car coming back in, NZSBK 2019, CRV, more power, more tech, more style for you.
So change for the lead as they head into the Jones John Steel left hand. Now they're down the McKesser curve and back into the hairpin. So it is Blake Ross, the BRM Dyno Pyro White Line man, out in front of the moment on the Kawasaki Ninja 300. So absolutely brilliant stuff. Blake Ross leads them into the kink, and Harry Parker under pressure now from Reece Lindsay. So we've got a hell of a fight on our hands, and just an 8-lapper here, the 300 Supersport action.
All right, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Look out for 4, 5, 6, a slight gap. 7 and 8 were tied over each other. 9. Then we look for a 10, 11, 12. Look at the fighting going on. This is as good as what you can watch with other big events from all around the world, and we've got it here with our MTF Motor Trade Finance Supersport 300 field with the charge going on out in front. Look at this. Great work coming from the underdog and Blake Ross. So the man out of Paidor, right up there on the central plateau, out of Hauraki, and here we go. Look at that for a ride. And there it is, looking for that slipstream. Look at that slipstream for Harry. Can he make the advantage of that? Goes down the Timaru Motor straight once again, and then tries to squeeze on the inside. Has he got the advantage? I think Brad has.
No, he has. He's pulled it off, and also changed for third place. Jacob Stroud up into third place as well. So he qualified in second, third place rather. So definitely good to see Jacob Stroud now mixing it in there. So let's see if he can get up on the top of this group and have a three-way fight. But it is now Harry Parker in the lead, Blake Ross in second, and now Jacob Stroud has moved up into third with Reece Lindsay in fourth. So great little four-way battle as we see them out of the hairpin.
All right, keen to watch this group now, and we can even start to see the bright colours coming through the pack as well. So some of our other riders taking a move. I'm looking at that back in sixth place, and we'll try and do an update for that one. But here we go at the moment with Harry. Good work there from the local man, MTF Finance, Timaru Yamaha. So it is Harry Parker back in there from Blake, Jacob, Reece, Dave, and Nick in there. I think that'll be Nick then. So Nick Burke looking out for Nick. He will be the update of our field to go through there in our 300s. Way more riders in the race than we actually have on our program. So that's great news, of course, that many of the others have now come to join this classy lineup. And one of those is Nick Burke, a name that we've haven't called too much of in racing, but I tell you what, now starting to make a name for himself. He's in there with people like Jack Condon and Hayden Lockhart. Kevin Goddard in there. I'd call this Kevin's other home track. He certainly did well at Ruapuna last weekend, and he's forced back into about 9th place at this stage. That gives us an idea of just how good the field is. If somebody that's been as good a runner as he has, what, a 5th and 6th place last weekend, and here he is back in a 9th at the moment on the Race Supplies, tyrewarmers.co.nz, Trevor Pierce, Yamaha, Mega Motorcycle Centre, Dyno Works, Motor Extreme, a Yamaha R3.
So you have a look at this battle for the lead. They head into the hairpin, and it is Harry Parker by Blake Ross, and then look at Jacob Stroud right over the back of him now. So I think fastest man on track by the looks of it is the Shoesy KTM 390 for AFC Motorcycles and Honda Cars. Jacob Stroud in 3rd place. We have to have a look at that fastest lap update as they cross the line. Reece Lindsay now running a little bit of a lonely ride in 4th, and then Dave Fellows leads a little three-way battle into turn 1 and 2. So there's battles all over the field, and we'll see if we can try and catch up. Our first of our 250 production, Leon Jacobs and Angus Boyd having a good little battle as the first of the 250 start crossing the line. So just awesome stuff out here, brought to you by MTF Finance and Timaru.
All right, a 1, 2, 3, and there it is, stretching it out at the moment. And just when we see the punch through the corners, through the tight part of the track, see the ground that's made up on every lap by the flying ace out there, the number 70 of Jacob Stroud on the Lizard Racing, Shoesy Health Jewellery, AFC, KDM, MTF Finance, Tauranga Bay Automotive, Tauranga supported the RC 390. That's the KDM. So that's the other bike. That's the single 4-stroke in there. The others are 4-stroke, but they're a twin as well. So they've got the longer legs along the straight, but the 390 has just got the power out of the corner. And look at that now. You can watch it on the Ctas update and see that he can get right up. Look at that around the hairpin. You'd almost think that one bit there, you wonder where he's gone to, because he's right in the slipstream and in the blind spot of the 2nd place rider out there. So I tell you what, all of a sudden there's some work to do for young Blake out there. But when they go along the back straight and into John Jones, you'll see that advantage just stretch right out again. So there we go with a very tight 1, 2, 3, slight gap back to 4 as we're looking there to the 42 of Reece Lindsay out there, the man from Wellington on the Fraser Hyde contracting work on diggers, bulldozers, levelling the ground, and houses, doing fencing, and a lot more based out of Wellington. I love all that. All the sponsors' words are written there exactly in the words, with Whiz Racing, knee sliders and elbow sliders, along with TSS Red Baron Parts, tyres, motorcycle accessories, and Mike Lindsay Limited, IT Computing Design. So there you go. So Reece Lindsay, the young man making it happen out there. Good work from Reece as he tries to close the gap, but into John Jones Steel Brad. Throw a blanket, you cover all 3 of them.
Oh, it's a tea towel. Throw a tea towel over them. It's awesome to watch. They head down into the left hand down. I think we've got to change for 2nd place. Jacob Stroud has gone up into 2nd place. So that 390, that single cylinder, that'd be awesome around the sweeping left hand McKissick curve there. So he's right on the back of Harry Parker for the lead now as we watch them fly into the right hand of the hairpin. Absolutely magic. And then you go back to Reece in 4th, and then a great little battle in behind him with last year's star Jack Condon now leading that little 5-way battle for 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. So just absolutely brilliant. They head into the bus stop. It is still Harry Parker, but now we have Jacob Stroud up into 2nd place with Blake Ross in 3rd right there as well.
All right, very tight going on in that battle for the lead. It is a nice little battle. We're looking for Jacob. Can he get the advantage? I'd love to see him get in front and then actually see the legs and see whether he can hold on, and can he use the slipstream to his advantage, and will he be able to come safe? Look at that, the punch out of the corner from Harry. That is great. Or Larry has got on over all his gear. All of the gear has got Larry on it. It's just a nickname that Harry's been given. Of course, he works at Timaru Yamaha. All of the locals are in behind him. The whole Wash Dyke commercial industrial area here on the northern side of Timaru, they all know of his excellence on the racetrack. He's got a whole big fan club that's getting him behind him. He loves it here at his home track of Levels. He's got some great Timaru Herald media support, and he's out there and doing it. And so come on, people, don't show your shyness, show your support and get out there and give him the cheer. So Harry hanging on, because you've got the big charge coming from Super Ace in the flying 70 of Jacob Stroud, pushing all the way through. And don't rule out Blake Ross in there, Brad. He's still hanging with him.
Yeah, no, this is an absolutely brilliant little 3-way fight. They're going to head down. I think the white flag may be ready and waiting. We'll have to get an update of that into the bus stop. Harry Parker takes a little bit of a wider sweeping line with the parallel twin. White flag, 1 to go. So Harry's got 1 to go. And where is it going to be Jacob Stroud's turn to pass? He can be faster in places, but he's got to be faster where he can pass. So we can't keep our eyes off that 3-way fight at the front.
All right, there we go at the moment. 1, 2 and a 3. Yes, indeed, 4's on his own with Reese. Then we've got a 5, 6 and then a 7, 8, 9. That looks to be our top group at this stage, but it is all on for the 3 of them. And just Blake Ross losing the legs off them. He's on the smaller 300, so he is definitely, as far as the dyno is concerned, the Kawasaki Ninja 300 is that fraction less than the others, but with the rider as dynamic as Blake Ross, runner-up in last year's Ctas Cup in its debut year, this man has put in a flying good start out of Whiteline all the way from beautiful Pyro up there on the Central Plateau Hauraki Plains, and he's got riding behind his racing and giving it 100%. But Jacob and Harry putting on all the battle at the moment. Will it be Jacob? Will it be Harry? If it's going to be Jacob, he's got to make his move pretty quick now, Brad.
Yeah, now they're into the hairpin now, so there's only a handful of corners to go. And he's just dived up the inside and cut the line away, but he's gone in a bit deep and a bit hot, but he's managed to pull it off. Well done, Jacob Stroud. He's changed for the lead. So Jacob Stroud, he's going to run out of the hairpin and into the curve. He's going to lead them into the bus stop, which is a very hard path to pass. So I'd say Jacob Stroud has the run to the line at the moment. Jacob Stroud is going to hold it off just by a bike length, not even a bike length. Jacob Stroud over Harry Parker, Blake Ross back in third place, then 42 Roots Lindsay, 80 of Jack Condon. Then you go back to Kevin Goddard got up for 6th place in the end, so awesome stuff from Kev. Hayden Lockhart in there, and Nick Burke, Dave Fellows rounding out your top 9 in this 300 Super Sport action. Here we go, the 92 coming through there as well, so awesome stuff. Trying to catch our glimpse. Here's our first of our, is it Leon? Yeah, number 5, Leon. So Leon Jacobs comes through. He's the first of the 250 production. And then we see Dean Watson, the NZ Cylinders man, come through, and Angus in there as well, the second of the 250 production races. So absolutely brilliant. So what a finish, what a last lap. In the hairpin, he was way back under brakes, and he just dived in there. So what a move, Jacob Stroud. And he will win this first race, the 8-lapper brought to you by MTF Finance in Timaru, as they all fly across the line. Some mixture of 300 and 250s crossing the line now. So just brilliant stuff to watch as they headed down the slip road, and we're getting ready to go down to Neil, who will have the definite 3-pack out in front. They were definitely the class of the field. Jacob with the win, Harry with the second, and Blake with the third. So absolutely outstanding stuff from those youngsters there. And of course Harry and Blake, part of the Ctas Cup from last year, so already just 1 year after the Ctas Cup graduation, they're already on the podium in 300 Supersport racing, so that's brilliant. And try and catch an update to our 250 podium as well, so Leon and Angus, and have to catch up with Phil Lowe. So Phil Lowe got the third in the 250 production class as well. So we'll cross down now to Neil, who will have our podium boys down there.
All right, an opportunity here to do our podium now for our 300s. We're doing our 250X, and Blake, what an awesome trio out there. Must have been an honour to be racing with these two guys alongside.
Oh, it was great. They definitely had just a little bit more pace than me, but I hung in there for a little while, and yeah, just happy with the third.
All right, Level's not a track you've raced on a lot. Do you like it down here?
Yeah, I like it. It's just a nice short track and a lot of left-handers.
Good to see, and well done. Certainly, Harry, of course, on his on your home turf here, Harry. But it was 1-2 corner too many for you.
Oh yeah, I didn't realise it was so close behind me. I was actually reading the pitbull this time instead of last weekend. I kind of got a bit happy and tucked the front. But yeah, these boys are good racing, and yeah, bring on the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, well done. But Jacob, mate, you were sizing up. Did you know that was your corner? Had you worked it out the lap before?
I knew I had a little bit more pace around the back, but on the last lap we didn't get a lot of drive out of the bottom corner, and I knew we were struggling a little bit with the bigger rear tyre. Couldn't really get the edge grip we needed. But yeah, the door was sort of almost open, and I sort of forced my way through. I knew he had a little bit more pace, and we're just sort of sitting there waiting for opportunity. I knew Harry's a great rider, and he'd come back as soon as I got past. So I was sort of left it as late as I could, and that was probably almost the last place to do it. So yeah, really happy with that result.
Thank you, guys.
Come back on, I think.
All right, ready to go now with our podium 250 reduction, and looking at our podium, we're missing third at the moment, so second to Angus. Angus, all those big 300s out in front of you, they're a bit daunting. Do you know what's going on with the other 250 riders around you?
It's just hard on the straights, eh? We do all the hard work through the corners and keep up, but then we just get absolutely destroyed on the straights. But anyway, it was all good.
Yeah, it was indeed. All right, your competition and the people you need to beat, are you beating them at the moment?
No, I blew up an engine at Ruapuna, so DNF, so this is better than 1 point. So yeah, but I just lost them when we got tangled in with some 300s. Other than that, it was awesome racing.
See, good to see. Leon, congratulations. Some tough work to do out there for you on the little 250.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
Yeah, it is a bit like that as we see our next class warming up at this stage, but a bit of hard work out there at the moment with those big bikes.
Yeah, I was in the beginning, first 3 laps. I pushed really hard and had a few moments. There's a big puddle of water out just after turn 2, so had a moment into turn 3, but yeah, it's quite difficult. Yeah.
Oh, indeed. Does it give you some encouragement? Do you think that one day you'll move up to the 300s?
Yeah, definitely. I think next year be moving up, so not sure yet. Pro Twin or 300, we'll see.
Great to see you. All right, well done, guys. So there it is, our 250 podium at the moment.
All right, fantastic stuff. That's the 300 and 250 podium guys down there. So wonderful stuff down there, and we move to this awesome 10.